Eddie soldiers. My shirt has these cool sleeves that make me kind of feel like a 70s hippie child, but then like also a little bit like a Dementor, which is what I think all clothing should make you feel like. I realized that a lot of the books that I read this year were not in fact the first book of a series. They were sequels or prequels or fifths in a series or thirds in a series, so this video is celebrating those guys with my favorite sequels of 2016. Also, there's gonna be some maybe slight spoilers in this video just because I want to talk about books, and if you haven't read them, sorry. Let's just start off with the one that I finished the most recently, and that is Fate of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. Queen of the Tearling is one of my favorite fantasy series ever, and Fate of the Tearling was one of the most beautiful pieces of literature I have read this year. The whole war conclusion really concluded in a way I was not expecting at all. It was a real surprise. And this whole like space-time, time travel, interdimensional kind of thing that was going on in the second one that I was a little skeptical about really comes into play in the third one. You understand everything. It's so mind-boggling and mind-blowing. You're like, what? But then also, I cried at the end of this because it's just so sad, but also really like hopeful and sweet, and it was just a wonderful conclusion to the entire series. So you need to start reading the other series if you haven't, because you need to make it to this book. Another sequel that I think all of you know is gonna be on this list is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. Red pages! Ah! With Six of Crows being a Russian folklore-inspired heist novel, Crooked Kingdom, you get another Russian folklore-inspired heist novel, but this one you get more character development. Every time that you think something is gonna go one way, it never goes that way, and even if you're like, no, I know she's writing this to make me think that, so I'm gonna think that way, there's always like 5 other things that have been happening in the background that you didn't even think about, and this whole ending with the Tide Makers was like, how did that happen? How did she write that? How did she make that possible? It was so good! Please pick up Six of Crows if you have not already, because it is so cool, and I think that I liked Six of Crows as a book better, but I like the ending of Crooked Kingdom more. Next up is a book that is not a second or a third or a fourth, but in fact a fifth of a series, and y'all know what I'm talking about when I say Empire of Storms by Sarah J Maas. This was one of my favorite books of the year, not only because I love the Throne of Glass series, but because so much happened in this book. I adore that all of these god-touched people are being brought together and you're like, something big is gonna happen. And then this whole ending with alliances being broken and reformed and people on your side, not on your side, and people not on your side are on your side, and then the silent assassins show up, and what's gonna happen with Aelin? Sarah J Maas, you wrote yourself into a deep dark hole and I do not know how you're gonna write yourself out of it. Possibly one of my favorite books of this year, not just sequels, but favorite books, is A Court of Misty and Fury by, once again, Sarah J Maas. You sensing a theme here, you sensing that I like her books. A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is in the first in this series, was like pretty good, and then Court of Misty and Fury freaking blew that out of the water. This was so cool, it was so intense, there's so many emotions, there's intense fight scenes, there's this whole like mate aspect to fairies, we get more fairy lore, we go to another fairy court, we get the whole under the mountain scene, which was like, whew, hot as hell. We have a whole lot of character redemption and a whole lot of people being like, what the heck is up with that? And then there's all these new people that get introduced and I'm like, why are you there? What are you gonna do? You're gonna die, aren't you? I hope not. I really hope we see you in the next book, because what are your powers? And then we have Warrior Witch by Danielle L. Jensen, which is the book that I have cried the most over this year, I think. The first of this series being Stolen Songbird, we have a whole trolls living under the mountain cursed by a witch. Witchcraft also plays a large part in this, so the main character was not just some kind of like, oh my goodness, I'm being kidnapped, I hope I need a prince to come rescue me. Like, no, she's like, I'm on top of my and I need to go figure out a way to undo this curse, and I'm gonna go do it. And I'm like, you go girl. Tristan is the epitome of the like bad boy with a good soul, and I didn't even care because he's such a deep, fantastic character. And yeah, I cried the most I have cried this year from this book. It's just so beautiful. Alright, secret time. I actually did film this video a little while ago, and then I realized that I had missed this very important book, and I had to film it again. So the book that requires a new recording is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. I was debating putting this on my favorite books of 2016, but then I forgot, and then I was like, I'll do it on my sequels, and then I forgot. So I was like, I'm gonna freaking re-record this because this needs to be on here. I think I really appreciated Lady Midnight just because the two main characters are characters that already know what they're doing in the Shadowhunter world, and we get a lot more fairy lore in this, which is so cool. It's like what I signed up for. And then there's a lot of old literature references with the poem of Annabel Lee and that whole thing going on. And then there's this new kind of demon aspect of these new shadow hunters that have gone dark. And then if you read the Shadowhunter Academy tales, you'll know the big thing at the end of this, and I'm not gonna spoil because I'm not that mean. And then Tessa and Jem show up, and then Clary and Jace are there, and Magnus and Alec are back as well, so it's really fun to kind of have that whole universe still be there while also following new characters, a new plotline. And lastly, I don't think this video will be complete without me mentioning this book, and y'all have had enough time to read this, so if I'm spoiling anything here, like, sucks to suck. Because one of my favorite sequels of this year is The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. This book was just so good! It's just, Blue and Gansey finally like figure their stuff out, and then the whole idea with mirrors that we really set up in, I think it was Blue Lily Blue, that I did not really see coming, and then it ended up being Noah, and Noah is just my poor sweet little cinnamon roll where you're like, everything's gonna be okay, but then you're also like, everything's not gonna be okay. Adam finally gets the courage to like be his own person and break away from his family, and Ronan is finally able to let someone in, and then they get together, and it's the cutest thing ever. And then at the end we have that hilarious thing with the Chimera with no engine, and I just love that. So you know that we're going to be seeing more of this universe because the world is so creative and the characters are so well developed that this is a 5 out of 5, man. This was just a fantastic series. And of course that is not all. There were some great ones by V.E. Schwab and Sabbath Tahir and Marissa Mayer, and I can't add all of them, but I think those are like my solid favorites of the year. Please leave down below some of your favorite sequels of the year. Maybe they're the same, maybe they're different. Who knows? I hope your holiday festivities are going well. I'm like pretty done with my Christmas shopping, but of course there's always that 1 or 2 extra little things you always forget about until the last minute, then you're stressing out, and then it's Christmas. Click over here to like the video, and then click over there to subscribe. Hope you guys are having a good day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!